Every time you buy something, someone is getting richer. Not you. The person who made it. The person who owns the company. The person who invested in the brand. They are getting richer. And you are getting a thing. Now, what if, just what if, you were on the other side of that transaction? What if instead of being the consumer, you were the owner? That shift, that one mental shift, is the difference between building wealth and funding someone else's. Stay with me. Sofia is 29 years old. She earns a solid income. She works hard. She is smart. And she spends, like most smart, hardworking people spend. She has the latest phone, upgraded every 2 years without question. She buys coffee every morning from the same chain. She orders from the same food delivery platforms 3 or 4 times a week. She streams 4 different services. She shops from the same 2 or 3 fashion brands. She is a loyal, consistent, enthusiastic consumer. And every company she buys from loves her for it. Because Sofia, and millions of people exactly like Sofia, are the reason those companies are worth billions. Now here is the question that changed everything for Sofia. A colleague asked her one day, almost casually, over lunch, "Do you own stock in any of the companies you spend money with every month?" Sofia paused. She had never thought about it that way. She spent money at these companies constantly, but she had never once considered owning a piece of them. That question, 4 seconds of conversation, opened a door Sofia had not known existed. Let's talk about the consumer mindset, because most of us were raised inside it and never told there was another way to exist. The consumer mindset goes like this: you work, you earn, you spend, you enjoy, repeat. It is not a bad life, it is a comfortable life, but it is a life where your financial role is always the same. You are the one the money flows away from. Think about your morning. You wake up and make coffee or buy it. You check your phone, a device you paid for, running apps you pay for, on a network you pay for. You commute, paying for fuel or transit or a rideshare. You work all day to earn money. And then, before that money even settles, it begins flowing out to the coffee company, to the tech company, to the streaming service, to the fashion brand. Month after month, year after year, you are the engine that powers these businesses. And the businesses, the owners, the shareholders, the investors, they collect what flows from you. The consumer mindset is not a character flaw. It is just a role, and roles can be changed. Now let's talk about the other mindset, the one Sofia's colleague introduced her to, the asset owner mindset. It starts with one question, asked about every purchase. Can I own a piece of this, instead of just buying from it? When Sofia buys her morning coffee from a publicly traded chain, she is also able to own shares in that chain. When she pays for a streaming service every month, she can also own stock in that company. When she orders from a food delivery platform, she can invest in that platform. This does not mean she stops being a consumer. It means she adds a second relationship with the companies she already loves. One relationship as a customer, one relationship as an owner, and the owner relationship pays her back. Every time the company grows, her investment grows. Every time millions of other consumers spend at that company, a tiny fraction of that flow comes back to her. This is not theory. This is how stock ownership works. When you own shares in a company, you own a piece of its future earnings. You become, in a very real, very legal sense, a partial owner of the businesses that used to only take from you. So, what did Sofia actually do after that lunch conversation? She went home, she opened a brokerage account, she made a list of every company she spent money with regularly, the coffee chain, the streaming service, the tech company whose phone she used, the food delivery platform, the fashion brand, the supermarket chain, and she asked, for each one, is this company publicly traded? Can I own a piece of it? Most of them were. She did not stop spending at any of them, but she started investing in several of them, small amounts at first, $20 here, $50 there, automatically, every month, and something shifted in how she experienced those purchases. When she bought her morning coffee, she was feeding a company she partly owned. When millions of other people used the streaming service she invested in, her investment grew. She had moved from purely funding these businesses to partially profiting from them. The consumer was still there, but now the owner was too. And here is where I want to step out of Sofia's story for a moment and talk directly to you, because you have been listening, and something has been quietly landing. Maybe you recognized yourself in Sofia, the loyal consumer, the consistent spender, the person who funds companies without ever sharing in what they build. And maybe, right now, a version of that lunch question is forming in your mind. Do I own stock in any of the companies I spend money with every month? If the answer is no, that is not a failure. That is a starting point. Because the asset owner mindset is not about being wealthy enough to invest. It is about being intentional enough to start. You do not need thousands of dollars. You need a brokerage account, a list of the companies you already love, and a consistent, even tiny, monthly contribution. The shift is not financial first, it is mental first. From, I am someone who buys from these companies, to, I am someone who owns a piece of these companies. That reframe changes everything about how you interact with money. Let's take this further, because the asset owner mindset goes beyond just investing in stocks. It is a way of seeing every financial decision differently. When you buy a car on finance, the asset owner asks, am I acquiring something that builds my net worth or depletes it? When you sign up for a new subscription, the asset owner asks, is this expense moving money toward my future or away from it? When you receive a raise, the asset owner does not ask, what can I upgrade? They ask, what can I acquire? The consumer sees income as spending power. The asset owner sees income as acquisition power. One uses money to enjoy the present. The other uses money to build the future, and then enjoys both. This is not about deprivation. Sofia still drinks her coffee, still streams her shows, still enjoys her life. But she now asks, before every significant financial decision, is this taking from my future or building it? That question, consistently asked, is worth more than any single investment. Here is where the asset owner mindset becomes extraordinary, not immediately, but over time. Sofia started investing small amounts in the companies she already used, $20 a month here, $50 there. In year 1, the portfolio was modest, unremarkable. In year 3, it had grown to something that felt real. In year 7, the dividends from some of her investments were covering her monthly streaming subscriptions. Think about that for a moment. The companies she used to only pay were now paying her back. Not a lot, not life-changing money yet. But the direction had reversed. Money was flowing toward her, not just away from her. And year by year, as she added more, as the companies grew, as the compounding accelerated, the flow got stronger. This is what the asset owner mindset builds over time, not overnight wealth, but a gradual, irreversible shift in the direction money flows. Until one day, you wake up and realize you are no longer just the engine that powers other people's businesses. You are a partial owner of the engine itself. So here is how you begin. 3 steps. Step 1. Make your consumer list. Write down every company you spend money with regularly. Coffee, streaming, tech, food, fashion, supermarkets, platforms, everything. Step 2. Check which ones are publicly traded. A quick search for each company name plus the word stock will tell you. Circle the ones you can invest in. Step 3. Open a brokerage account if you do not have one. Choose one or two companies from your list to start with. Set up an automatic monthly investment, however small, $20, $50, whatever the gap allows. And then keep spending with them, because now every time you buy your coffee, you are also feeding an investment you own, the consumer and the owner, both, at the same time. That is the shift. Every time you spend money, someone benefits. For most of your life, that someone has not been you, but it can be. Not instead of spending. Alongside it. The asset owner mindset does not ask you to stop being a consumer. It asks you to stop being only a consumer. To add one more relationship with the companies that already have your loyalty. An ownership relationship, one that pays you back, one that grows while you sleep, one that, over time, shifts the direction money flows in your life. Sofia made that shift over one lunch conversation. You are making it right now. Your assignment this week: make your consumer list. Pick one company. Buy one share, even one share. Because the moment you own a piece of a business you already support, everything looks different. Start today. If this video shifted something for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. New video every week. Subscribe, and I will see you next week.